Disclaimer: this content is only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. I never thought one late-night conversation could change the entire dynamic of our marriage. My name is Neha, and I've been married to Arjun for 3 years. Like any couple, we had our highs and lows, but we'd settled into a comfortable routine, too comfortable, maybe. That's the thing with long-term relationships. Sometimes you get so caught up in daily life that you stop noticing the little sparks that brought you together in the first place. Until something, or in my case, someone, shakes things up in the most unexpected way. It all started on a Friday evening, after one of those exhausting weeks where we barely had time to speak, let alone connect. We were curled up on the couch, half watching a show neither of us was really paying attention to. Out of nowhere, Arjun looked at me with a strange glint in his eye. "What if we tried something different?" he said, his voice low but playful. I raised an eyebrow, curious but cautious. "Different how?" I asked, laughing nervously. And then he dropped a suggestion that stopped me in my tracks. At first, I thought he was joking. It sounded so unlike him, my grounded, practical Arjun, who triple-checks grocery lists and always separates the lights and darks in the laundry. But he wasn't joking. He was serious. His wild suggestion wasn't something I'd ever imagined us doing, but the way he said it, the way he looked at me, I could tell he'd thought it through. And he wasn't just chasing a thrill, he believed this could bring us closer. That moment was the beginning of a turning point in our relationship. My mind was racing with questions. Would this change how we saw each other? Would it make things better, or would it open a door we couldn't close? I wanted to say yes out of curiosity, but I also felt hesitant. Vulnerable. Excited. Scared. Everything at once. What really got to me, though, was how open and honest that conversation became. For the first time in months, we weren't just husband and wife sharing a house, we were two people really seeing each other. And that night, as we talked for hours, we discovered parts of ourselves we hadn't shared before. But the decision wasn't easy. One suggestion had turned into a much deeper conversation about trust, boundaries, and what we really wanted from each other. So what was this wild idea? And did we actually go through with it? Or did the fear of change hold us back? I want to hear from you. Have you ever had a moment where your partner surprised you in a way that made you see them differently? What's the boldest thing you've ever done in a relationship? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's keep it respectful. I'll also be putting up a poll. Would you take a risk like this if it meant deepening your connection? Yes, no, or maybe. I'm really curious to see what you all think. Stick around, because in the next part, we were both studying marketing and instantly clicked over a group project, of all things. He was quiet, thoughtful, and had this dry sense of humor that took a while to catch, but when it did, it stayed with you. I was the louder one, always organizing, always talking, always planning. We balanced each other out perfectly. After dating for 4 years, we got married, moved into a cozy apartment, and started our little life together. It was everything I thought I wanted. But somewhere along the way, the spark turned into comfort, and then comfort turned into routine. We loved each other, no doubt. But there were days when we were more like roommates than partners. We didn't fight much, but we didn't laugh as much either. So when Arjun opened up that night, I think a part of me felt seen for the first time in a while. And that scared me just as much as it excited me. Later that day, I couldn't stop myself from bringing it up again. We were in the kitchen, making breakfast like we always did on weekends. He was scrambling eggs while I made coffee. I looked at him and said, "Were you serious about what you said last night?" He paused for a second, then nodded. "I've been thinking about it for a while," he said. I didn't know how to bring it up without sounding crazy. His honesty made me pause. He wasn't trying to pressure me. He was just sharing something real. And the more he explained his idea, the more I realized this wasn't just about trying something wild for the sake of excitement. It was about reconnecting, rebuilding a kind of intimacy we hadn't felt in a long time. But still, it wasn't a simple suggestion. It came with its own set of risks, and I had 100 questions racing through my head. Would this bring us closer or drive a wedge between us? Would we both handle it the same way? Even now, I don't know what made me say, "Let's talk more about it." Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was hope. Or maybe deep down, I knew that change, however uncertain, was better than quietly drifting apart. But here's the thing, just when I thought I was ready to explore this new path with him, something else happened. Something that made the whole situation even more complicated. So tell me, if your partner came to you with a suggestion that could totally shift the dynamics of your relationship, would you be open to it? Or would you walk away from the risk? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to vote in the poll. Would you say yes to something unpredictable if it could bring you closer together? Yes, no, or depends. There's more to come, and trust me, you won't believe what happened next. Arjun's idea wasn't something completely out of the blue, it was something he'd apparently been thinking about for a while. But the timing of when he brought it up was what really caught me off guard. It made me question whether I'd been missing signs all along. Was he unhappy, bored, or just searching for something deeper between us? The suggestion itself, while not dangerous or inappropriate, was personal, bold, and emotionally complex. It wasn't something couples casually talked about over breakfast, and yet, here we were. Over the next few days, I found myself going through an emotional roller coaster. One moment, I was excited at the idea of us rediscovering each other in a new way. The next, I was second-guessing everything. Was this a test? Was I enough for him? Was this about love or just curiosity? These thoughts started creating a quiet tension between us. We were both tiptoeing around the topic, afraid to push too hard, but also afraid to leave it unspoken. At work, I found it hard to focus. I kept replaying our conversations in my head. I started observing other couples around me, at the cafe, in the office, even strangers on the street. Were they also having these deep, unexpected conversations behind closed doors? Or was it just us, trying to fix something that maybe wasn't even broken? Things got even more complicated when I confided in my friend Ria. She and I have always been close, the kind of friends who can say anything without judgment. But when I told her about Arjun's suggestion, her reaction caught me off guard. "That sounds risky," she said. "What if it backfires? You guys have a solid bond, why shake it up like this?" Her concern was valid, but a part of me also felt judged. It made me wonder, was I wrong for even considering it? Later that evening, I looked at Arjun differently. He was still the same man who left little notes in my lunchbox and remembered my mom's birthday without a reminder. But now, he was also someone who had this hidden layer I was just beginning to understand. It wasn't just about what he wanted, it was about him being vulnerable with me, opening up in a way that required both of us to take a leap. Still, there was something he wasn't telling me. I could feel it in his silence, in the way he avoided eye contact when I brought it up again. There was a hesitation in his voice, like he was holding back. That's when I started wondering, was this suggestion really about us? Or was something else going on? So now I want to know, do you think Arjun is being completely honest? Is this just an attempt to reconnect, or is there something more under the surface? And if you were in my place, would you trust the idea, or dig deeper before agreeing? Drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think is really going on here? Any predictions for what might happen next? I'm reading all of them. The days that followed felt heavier, like we were walking through fog. Arjun and I continued going through the motions, work, dinner, chores, but there was a quiet storm building between us. The topic hung in the air, unspoken but always present. Every glance, every touch, carried more weight. It was like we were both waiting for the other to say something, to either push forward or pull away. And the longer we waited, the more I felt the tension tightening around us. I started noticing subtle changes in him. He seemed distracted, often lost in thought. He'd start saying something and then stop mid-sentence, like he was afraid to speak his mind. I caught him scrolling through articles late at night, locking his phone when I walked in. Was he researching something? Looking for reassurance? Or hiding something from me? One evening, I decided I couldn't take the guessing anymore. We sat on the balcony, the air cool and still. I asked him directly, "Is there more to this than what you told me?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, he looked out at the dark sky, his jaw tense. "There's nothing wrong with us," he said finally, his voice low. But I feel like we're missing something real. Something we haven't touched in a long time. That answer should have comforted me, but it didn't. It felt like there was still a layer I couldn't reach. And now, I wasn't just questioning the suggestion he made, I was questioning everything. Our connection. Our understanding of each other. Our future. Was this just about breaking the routine, or was it a sign that something deeper was cracking beneath the surface? Meanwhile, my thoughts kept drifting back to Ria's warning. Sometimes, she had said, we open doors thinking we're being brave, when we're actually running from something. Was that what we were doing? Running? Or were we trying to find our way back to each other in the only way we knew how? The real breaking point came one night when Arjun got a call. It was late, almost midnight. He stepped out to take it, said it was work. But when he came back in, he looked shaken. Distant. I asked him who it was, and he hesitated just a second too long. Just a colleague, he said. That was the moment something shifted in me. A flicker of doubt turned into full-blown suspicion. And I hated that feeling. Because love isn't supposed to feel like this, like a guessing game, like walking on a tightrope blindfolded. I don't know if he's hiding something or if we're both just afraid of what comes next. All I know is that we're standing at the edge of something big, something that could either bring us back together stronger than ever, or tear us apart. What would you do if your partner suggested something bold, but their actions started making you question everything? Do you follow your heart or your instincts? Drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think is going on with Arjun? Any theories before the truth comes out? The days after that late-night phone call were different. Arjun tried to act normal, he made breakfast, asked how my meetings went, even suggested a movie night like we used to. But I could feel it. The shift. His smile didn't reach his eyes, and his touch felt just a little hesitant. I didn't want to become the kind of person who snooped or doubted everything, but something inside me wouldn't sit still. That phone call, the suggestion, the tension, it all felt like pieces of a puzzle that didn't quite fit yet. And I was done waiting for answers to fall into my lap. So, one evening while he was out for a quick drive, I checked the call history on our shared tablet. I know, I shouldn't have. But curiosity had turned into worry, and worry was quickly becoming fear. The number wasn't saved, but it had appeared more than once over the past few weeks. I didn't recognize it. And in that moment, I felt something cold grip my chest. Was there someone else involved in this whole new idea? Was this even about us anymore, or was I just being led into something I never agreed to? I didn't confront him right away. Instead, I decided to wait and observe, hoping the truth would show itself without me forcing it out. And that's when the second twist came, totally unexpected, completely out of nowhere. A few days later, I was meeting Ria for lunch. As we chatted about work and random stuff, I noticed she was unusually quiet. Fidgety. I finally asked her if something was bothering her, and that's when she said, "There's something I didn't tell you." I wasn't sure if I should, but I saw Arjun a few days ago. At a cafe near my office. He wasn't alone. My heart dropped. With who? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She looked uncomfortable. I don't know. A woman. I didn't want to assume anything, but they seemed deep in conversation. Not romantic, but definitely serious. Suddenly, everything clicked. The call. The hesitation. The secrecy. But instead of giving me answers, this new information raised even more questions. Who was she? What were they talking about? Was this connected to the suggestion he made, or was this something completely separate? I didn't know whether to confront Arjun, follow the trail further, or just sit him down and ask for the full truth, no filters, no dodging. But I was scared of what I might hear. Sometimes the truth isn't a relief, it's a line you can't uncross. So now I'm asking you, what would you do if you were in my shoes? If your partner was keeping something from you, would you wait for them to come clean, or would you go looking for the truth yourself? Let me know in the comments. And seriously, your guesses have been spot on so far. What do you think this woman's role is in the story? Do you believe Arjun's intentions are still pure? Stay tuned, because what happens next will change everything. That night, I couldn't keep it in any longer. My mind was spiraling with Ria's words, the call logs, the tension, the endless guessing. I waited until Arjun came home, still pretending like nothing was wrong. He kissed my forehead like he always did, but I didn't feel the same warmth. We sat in silence through dinner, and finally, I looked at him and asked, "Who is she?" He froze, fork halfway to his mouth. "What are you talking about?" he asked, too quickly. "The woman you met at the cafe," I said calmly. "Ria saw you. And I saw the calls. I need the truth, Arjun. All of it." He sat back, eyes wide for a moment, then ran a hand through his hair. "Okay," he said softly. "You deserve to know everything." For the next few minutes, I listened in stunned silence as Arjun explained. The woman wasn't someone new, and she wasn't romantic. Her name was Priya, his ex from years ago. She had reached out unexpectedly a few weeks back. Not because she wanted to rekindle anything, but because she had been going through something personal and needed closure. She was getting married, and she wanted to clear old guilt between them before starting that chapter. I didn't know whether to feel relieved or hurt. "And you didn't tell me because I didn't want to bring unnecessary drama into our life," he said. "Especially when I was trying to talk to you about us, about that idea. I didn't want you to think the two things were connected." But here's where the real twist came in. That bold suggestion Arjun made? It wasn't about adding excitement or repairing distance. It was about something much bigger. He wanted to move to another country. A complete reset. New jobs, new environment, a new start together. He had applied for a position overseas without telling me because he didn't want to disappoint me if it didn't work out. The wild relationship shift was about us starting over, away from everything familiar. He pulled out a letter from his bag, his job offer. He had gotten it. And he wanted me to come with him. For a moment, the room was completely still. My anger gave way to shock. Not only had he kept two huge things from me, but now he was asking me to make a life-changing decision, immediately. I looked at him, trying to process everything. "You thought this would bring us closer? I thought we needed something bigger than routine," he replied. "A leap. Together." I still didn't know what my answer was. I stood there, holding the offer letter, realizing that this wasn't just about trust or conflict anymore. It was about the kind of life we wanted to build and whether we were still on the same page. "So now I ask you, would you take the leap? If your partner offered you a whole new life, would you go? Or would you stay behind and start something new on your own? Tell me in the comments. What would you choose?" I held the job offer in my hands for what felt like hours. My mind was spinning. After everything, the tension, the secrecy, the emotional rollercoaster, I was now faced with a decision that could change both our lives forever. Arjun stood across from me, eyes hopeful but unsure, silently waiting for my response. I could see it in his face. He didn't just want a new city, a new job, or a passport stamp. He wanted to rediscover us, in a place where the noise of our routine wouldn't drown out what we used to be. The next few days were filled with quiet talks, long walks, and a lot of honest conversations we probably should have had months ago. I asked him every question I had kept inside about Priya, the timing, the guilt, and even my own fears. He didn't dodge anything. He admitted where he went wrong. I did too. The truth is, we had both let the comfort of the familiar replace the excitement of being truly connected. His bold idea wasn't just about change. It was a last shot at saving something that mattered to both of us. And surprisingly, the more we talked, the more the idea didn't feel like running away. It felt like a restart button we desperately needed. I started to picture us in a new place, exploring unfamiliar streets, learning things about each other we hadn't discovered yet. It wouldn't solve everything overnight, but maybe it could remind us why we chose each other in the first place. So, I said yes. 3 months later, we moved. The first few weeks were chaotic, new routines, new job roles, unfamiliar surroundings. But something shifted between us. We talked more, laughed more, even argued better. And the spark? It didn't come back all at once, but it flickered, and that was enough to keep going. As for Priya, her chapter was truly closed. I met her once, and surprisingly, it helped me let go of that lingering doubt. She was grateful, not a threat. And Arjun made it clear his heart was with me, and this new chapter wasn't about fixing the past. It was about building a future. Looking back, I realized love doesn't always fall apart loudly. Sometimes, it quietly drifts. And saving it takes more than romance, it takes risk, communication, and choosing each other again, even when it's uncomfortable. What do you think? Did I make the right choice? Would you have taken that leap? Let me know in the comments. And if you'd want a sequel to see how things unfold in this new chapter, drop a red heart hash in the comments below.